Pereira wrote, "Before the law of God, or till that law of God was violated by Adam, sin and death were in the world, yet had gained no power over it. They had got no lawful possession. They had got no absolute power. The reason is because before that time there was no law given by God."
As you can see, the English of the 1600s is different than the English of today. Clearly, sin was imputed from Adam to Moses. What brought the flood? Was the flood not judgment for sin? Or for that matter, what about the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah? And if the subject of Romans 5:13 was Adamic law, the sin that was in the world was committed by men other than Adam.
What do you say to those who might see racial implications or a second citizen status between those living today and who may be a direct descendant of Adam and those who likely are not?
A few early authors, Pereira, McCausland, Edward William Lane, Louis Agassiz, Alexander Winchell, among others, saw that a late-date Adam could not be ancestral to mankind everywhere. Julian, Emperor of Rome, saw this error and used it in his misguided efforts to discredit converted Christians. Although some authors, even to the present day, see a disconnect between Stone Age man and Adam, a common mistake among the above-mentioned authors was lodged in the idea that the races also were disconnected. Thus, Adam could start the Caucasian race, as the theory of pre-Adamism went, whereas members of other races had to look elsewhere. Even arguments in support of slavery could be substantiated on this basis. This rationale is as fatally flawed as other arguments that have been based upon misreading the Genesis text. No elements of racism can be supported on the basis of Genesis.
In recent years, translators and interpreters have labored to accommodate the Old Testament text in light of archaeological and anthropological discovery, and the true meaning of Genesis 1:26-27 has been questioned. These other verses contracted slightly. "And God said, Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them."
If it was just as simple as translating Adam as Adam or Adamite, and Ish in Hebrew, Anash in Aramaic as male, mankind, or humanity, the mystery likely would have been resolved years ago. The confusion starts with the first usage where Adam is translated as man in Genesis 1:26-27. Is this generic mankind or specifically Adam, husband to Eve, father to Cain, Abel, and Seth? And interpreters differ. Male and female in the same verse is Ish and Isha, as man and woman together are always Ish and Isha, regardless of where they came from. And to complicate matters, Adam occasionally is used where it could refer to generic mankind. 1 Kings 8:26 is one example.
Genesis 1-2-3 differs markedly from the rest of Genesis, and it has been suggested that two narratives from different sources were put together or compiled by Moses or during the Babylonian exile. It has been advocated that the creation of man in Genesis 1 should be separated from the subsequent creation account beginning at Genesis 2:4, to put a length of time between the creation of mankind and creation of Adam.
Gap theory was advanced by Thomas Chalmers in the early 1800s. C.I. Schofield breathed life into this methodology in his reference Bible, published in 1909. The precursor to archaic man was named Adam 1 from Genesis 1:27 to start the human or subhuman race. This would account for the previously unaccountable fossilized remains of early man. According to Schofield, modern human beings, including everyone living today, emanated from the Adam in the second chapter of Genesis.
Schofield's method sought to avoid the difficulties caused by the appearance of Adam of Genesis 2 at a point in history too late for him to be ancestral to every fossilized bone that has been dug up and assigned to genus Homo.
In this gap scenario, early precursors were eradicated by some natural calamity or died out because of ill-suited survival techniques. They were replaced miraculously and divinely by a whole new species, more modern in appearance. Finding a way to eradicate all those precursors, however, would be a daunting task.
Writing for Biologos Foundation, Dennis Alexander weighed in. The very first mention of Adam in the Bible comes in Genesis 1, 26 through 27, where the meaning is unambiguously humankind.
So was all of mankind, beginning 6 million years ago, created to represent God, or was it specifically Adam? Let's just say it is not unambiguous. We will never know Adam's mission on earth with certainty. Probably it was intended that he was to bring news of God's kingdom to the polytheistic heathen, to introduce them to accountable behavior. Adam had life to offer, perhaps tied to the tree of life some way, but regardless of what Adam was supposed to have done, however he would have done it, being human, he failed. The second Adam was God incarnate, Jesus Christ, and succeeded. I want to thank my co-host for joining me, and thank you for taking the time to watch.